Now, the N1 in Polokwane is usually busy over the Easter weekend. The highway is notorious for major accidents over the long weekend, and law enforcement will be monitoring the roads. Let's go live now to eNCA's Moloko Moloto, who is checking out the situation on the national road. Moloko, usually during this time, especially with the 4-day-long weekend, a lot of people are making their way to areas such as Limpopo, Mpumalanga, etc. How does it look today? Does it look like people have already started moving?
Well, as we were driving Masero from Johannesburg this morning along the N1 road, the road really was seamless. Traffic was flowing seamlessly, and even the very first toll plaza, Pumlani, there wasn't much traffic there as well. Also, the second toll plaza, one next to Hammanskraal, also the traffic was flowing quite nicely, even up to the third one at the Kranskop toll plaza. The traffic is really flowing nicely, but the authorities are saying that they expect that the volumes will peak as the day progresses. You would recall that since the COVID-19 outbreak, the two major churches of the ZCC as well as the St. Agnes have not been operating, particularly during the Easter period, although I'm made to understand that the other church will be operating. However, the numbers on the road really are not that many. But let's hear from the authorities themselves. The MEC for Transport and Community Safety, Florence Radzilane, joins me now. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. If you can just paint us a picture of the situation, not only here across along the N1, but across the province.
Let me start by greeting you and all the viewers of e-News. The traffic volume, I've just arrived here, driving all the way from Polokwane. I think the traffic volume is still very low. And one other thing that we want to appreciate as government is that the education, the safety education campaigns that we are intensifying in the province, we can see that we are starting to see some positive results, because motorists are trying their best to make sure that they follow the rules of the road.
Yeah. Last year, the numbers, road fatalities, went down significantly, and I think across the country, a total of 162 people perished on our roads. In Limpopo, the number went down, I think, from just over 30 to 19 or 20 there. And this time around, what is the approach in terms of ensuring that you don't even lose one life on our road?
We started by having a provincial prayer, which was an instruction by the Premier of the province, Premier Chopo Stanley Matavata, that we need to gather all our stakeholders led by various denominations, so that we start to get people to understand that issues of safety cannot be left to government alone. People must take full responsibilities. I always say to the people of Limpopo, we can't behave like foreigners in our own land, because one other thing that must differentiate me as a citizen and a foreigner, it's when I abide by the rules of the country. It's when I become the defender of the constitution of the country where I belong.
Yeah. Talking of foreign nationals and South Africans, this road is actually leading towards many countries within the SADC region. A lot of people traveling here would be going to Zimbabwe, even up to Malawi or even beyond. Do you get a sense that perhaps in terms of the behavior on the roads by motorists, South Africans and foreign nationals, perhaps there is that misunderstanding?
There are those who are very cooperative. One other thing which we are not happy about, especially looking at the foreigners, which when we stop them, this is the message I usually deliver to them, to say you can't make your vehicle to be overloaded, because when you arrive Beck Bridge, You can't go to the other part of the country. You go there and make sure you overload. Why do you do this when you are here in South Africa? But majority of them, I can attest that they are cooperating with us.
And that's a very interesting point you are raising, MEC. We see these vehicles that are overloaded. They would have traveled from point 1 to point B, from town A to town B. How do they get to pass through these various towns when you, as the authorities, are on the ground?
If you can zoom in Limpopo as a province, especially our roads, these people, they are very much intelligent. They even study the map of this province. They bypass. Let me give you one example. When you want to approach the Way Bridge, especially the one when you get into Polokwane, next to Shell Garage, we have our officials 24 hours, but they will choose to go to bypass and utilize some other road. Yeah. Even when you are here in Waterberg region, coming from Hammanskraal, there are those who will not come here. They will prefer to use the old road. But we are trying our best to make sure that even though we have limited resources, we spread our officials.
Up to so far, MEC, do we have the number of people who might have unfortunately perished on our roads in Limpopo?
It's only 8 people who were reported in Musina. The accident took place on Saturday last week. The driver of the taxi was overtaking in a very dangerous area, was overtaking on a barrier line. It has got nothing to do with traffic officers being there. Our people, we still have got those who drive recklessly so, who overtake in a very dangerous places. So hence, the intensification of safety education to our people.
Yeah, and I think you are echoing a point that was made by the Minister of Transport, and this way Chikunga, that you can deploy as many as traffic officers as you like, but ultimately they are not the ones who are driving. The motorists and the other road users must also take accountability. But I want to speak to Maurice Mataboga. He is the Executive Mayor of the Waterberg District. This is where we are. Sir, the spotlight now is on the national road. What is happening within the internal roads in your district in terms of the deployment, and usually what is the attitude of drivers once they get out of the national road?
Greetings to you and your viewers at home. Indeed, you are in Waterberg. Waterberg is actually in the border of Gauteng and Limpopo. So normally around this time we're actually getting a high volume of vehicles coming from south to north. But this year the traffic volume is actually very low. But with regard to the people that are using the old road at what we call R101, even there, because I've used the road coming this side, the traffic volume is still very low. But we still want to encourage our people also to adhere to the rules of the road, because it's very important. It's important for our communities, even the road users, to know that the responsibility lies with them, not only with the authorities.
Of course, the message all the time would be that your vehicle must be roadworthy. You should also not drive under the influence of alcohol. But other motorists would complain about the conditions of the roads themselves, particularly not only along the national road, but also internal roads in the smaller dorpies as well. What is the condition there? Are you happy as the local authorities with the state of the roads?
I can definitely say that the state of the roads are not necessarily in that good conditions, but as local authorities, we are hard at work, and together with RAL, because we have also signed MOUs, the local municipalities have signed MOUs with RAL, where we don't have the capacity. RAL will then intervene in terms of helping, in terms of patching the potholes that are there. But the state of the roads are not in that good state.
They are not first class. Thank you so much, Mr. Maurice Mataboga, who is the Executive Mayor of the Waterberg District, along with the MEC for Transport and Community Safety in the Limpopo Province, Ms. Florence Radzilani. They have been doing the search and also conducting essentially an awareness along this very important route that is being used by people who are traveling to the northernmost province of Limpopo and beyond, even to countries such as Zimbabwe and Malawi as well as Zambia. Masero?